So you found a condo you love. Great price, perfect spot in town. You walk in, see the nice countertops, the balcony with a view, and you can already see yourself living there. It feels right. You sign the papers, get the keys, and you think you've made a great move, a solid investment. Then a few months down the road, a letter shows up. It's from the condo board, and it's not a welcome basket. It's a notice for special assessment. Suddenly, you're on the hook for a $20,000 bill for a massive repair you knew nothing about. And honestly, this kind of thing happens more than you'd think, but it's almost always avoidable. In this video, I'm going to walk you through one of the things that most buyers miss, the step that most people, in their excitement, completely overlook. It's about understanding that when you're buying a condo, you're not just buying the unit, you're buying into a business, and you damn well better check the books before you sign on. That $20,000 bill is what's called a special assessment or special levy. It's an extra charge that hits all the owners when there isn't enough money in the bank to cover a big, necessary expense. This could be anything like a new roof, fixing the elevators, repairing a parkade that's leaking, or even covering legal fees if the corporation gets sued. And here's the part that gets people. If that special assessment gets approved after you take possession, it's your problem. You have to pay for it, even if the issue started long before you saw the place. This isn't just bad luck, it's what happens when you don't know the rules of the game. In Alberta, the game is run by something called the Condominium Property Act. Think of it as the official rule book for every single condo corporation in the province. It covers how they run meetings, collect fees, and most importantly, how they're supposed to plan for the future. The person in our story fell in love with the four walls and the view, but didn't look into the health of the business they were about to buy a piece of. They didn't realize that when you buy a condo, you're buying a share of the whole building, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly part is the maintenance that's been pushed off for years, and the poor financial planning that leads to heart-stopping bills in the mail. The key to finding all that out is buried in a stack of papers that most buyers never bother to read, the condo docs. When you make an offer on a condo here in Alberta, that offer should always be conditional on a satisfactory review of condominium documents. These papers are the building's life story. They tell you everything you need to know, from its financial health to drama between neighbors. Skipping this is like buying a used truck without ever popping the hood and looking at the engine. There's a reason that standard real estate purchase contracts have a whole section on this. So what are these documents? There's a few key ones, and they'll all fit together to give you a big picture. You've got the Reserve Fund Study and Plan, which is your crystal ball for future costs. Then there are financial statements and budgets, which show you how they handle the money day to day. The board meeting minutes are like the building's diary. All the problems and arguments are hiding in there. The bylaws and rules tell you what you can and cannot do. And finally, the estoppel certificate or information statement gives you a snapshot of right now, confirming fees, reserve fund balance, and if the current owner is behind on any payments. Looking at these, you can start to answer the real questions. Is the building on solid ground, or is it a money pit waiting to fall apart? Is the board on top of things, or is it a mess of conflict and bad management? And do the rules actually fit into your life, or are you going to be fighting over having a dog or where you can park? This is why I'm saying a review isn't just a good idea, it's the most important thing you can do to protect yourself and your money. All right, before we get into the nitty-gritty about how this actually works and how to go through the documents, what to look for, if you're finding this information valuable, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I put this information out here to help buyers, especially Alberta families, make decisions with their hard-earned money. Your support helps me keep doing that and protects more people from getting into a bad spot. Okay, let's get into this. You've got this pile of papers from a seller. Where do you even start? Start with the Reserve Fund Study. In Alberta, the law says condo corporations have to get a professional, usually an engineer, to do a full study of all common property at least every 5 years. This report looks at every major piece of the building. The roof, windows, boilers, elevators, exterior, and estimates how much life it has left and what it'll cost to replace down the road. From that study, the board is supposed to create a reserve fund plan, which is their savings plan to cover the cost of those future bills. Here's the red flags I look for. An old study. If the study is older than 5 years, they're not following the law, and you can't trust the numbers. A seriously underfunded reserve. The report will show you how well funded they are. There's no magic number, but if that fund is way underfunded, some experts get worried when it's below 50 to 60%. That's a huge warning sign. It's a guarantee that either a special assessment is coming or your condo fees are about to spike. Projects getting pushed back. Look at the repair timeline. If the study says that the roof needed to be replaced 2 years ago and it hasn't been touched, the board is just kicking a very expensive can down the road. You might be the one holding the bag when that finally gives out. Next, you want at least 2 years of financial statements and board meeting minutes. The financials give you the official numbers, but the minutes, that's where you find the real story. In the financials, you're looking for operating deficits. Is the building constantly spending more money than it's bringing in from fees? That's just not sustainable. High arrears. Check the accounts receivable. If a lot of owners aren't paying their fees, it puts a strain on the budget for everyone else and can be a sign of bigger problems in the building. Now read the meeting minutes. This is where you find the gold. You need to read them very carefully. Are the same problems coming up over and over again? Recurring complaints. Constant mentions of water leaks, elevator problems, security issues, or noise complaints are a bad sign. It points to a board or management company that isn't getting things done. Talks of special assessments. If the words special assessment or special levy are already being thrown around in meetings, you should treat it as a very real possibility. Board drama. Are board members quitting all the time? Do the minutes show a lot of arguments and dysfunction? An unstable board can't manage a multi-million-dollar asset, which is exactly what your building is. The bylaws are the registered rules, and they're legally binding. You have to read them to make sure you can actually live there. Pets. Are there rules on number, size, or even breed of pets? Rentals. Can you rent it out? Lots of buildings have tough rules or bans on short-term rentals like Airbnbs. Renovations. What approvals do you need to change your kitchen or floors? If you touch anything that could be considered common property without permission, you could be facing fines. Age and use. Are there age restrictions? What about the rules for running a business from your home? Don't just skim this part. If a bylaw goes against what you want to do with your own property, it should be a deal breaker. I can't say this enough. Just like you get a home inspection for a house, you should never buy a condo without getting a professional document review. For a few $100, usually between $250 and $500 here in Alberta, you can hire a company that does nothing but analyze these documents all day. These people have seen it all. They have data on thousands of buildings and can spot red flags you'd never see. They'll give you a simple, clean report that lays out risks. It'll give you the confidence to either go ahead with the deal or walk away from a financial nightmare. And honestly, it's the best money you can spend when you're buying a condo. Beyond the documents, there's a couple other traps I see buyers fall into. First, insurance. The condo corporation has its own big policy that covers the common property and the basic structure of your unit. But you're on the hook for everything else. That means your belongings, any upgrades you do, and your personal liability. Most importantly, your personal policy needs to cover the corporation's insurance deductible. Under Alberta law, if damage starts in your unit, say a dishwasher leaks and floods the unit below, you can be held absolutely liable for the corporation's deductible up to $50,000, even if it wasn't your fault. Without the right insurance, a simple leak could wipe you out. Second, parking and storage. Never assume parking stall and storage lockers come with your unit. You have to check the title to see if it's a titled spot you own, an exclusive use area the corporation assigns you, or just a lease space you're paying extra for. An assigned stall can sometimes be changed by the board. Finally, get a home inspection. People think that because it's a condo, they don't need one. That's wrong. An inspector can find problems inside your unit condo docs won't even mention, like issues with the plumbing, wiring, or appliances that are 100% your responsibility to fix. Buying a condo in Alberta can be a great move. It can be an affordable way to live in a great area without worrying about mowing the lawn. But the line between a smart investment and a financial disaster is doing your homework. That story about the buyer getting hit with a $20,000 bill does not have to be your story. When you understand what to look for in the condo documents, the reserve fund study, the financials, the meeting minutes, you stop being a gambler and you become a more informed buyer. Remember, you're not just buying a view and some granite countertops. You're investing in a company. So do your homework, read the documents, and please spend the money on a professional review. It's the single best piece of advice I can give. It lets you buy with your head, not just your heart. And it makes sure when you pop champagne, it's for the right reasons. Have you ever been surprised by a special assessment? Or do you have a question about condo documents that I didn't go over? Drop a comment below. Let's share what we know and help others make smarter moves. And if you want more practical, straight-up advice for navigating the Alberta real estate market, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Your dream home's out there. Let's just make sure it doesn't come down with a nightmare attached.